Picture two siblings in a kitchen, fiercely arguing over the last orange. The fight escalates until a parent steps in with a referee's logic. Cut the orange in half, give each kid an equal piece, and the problem is solved. One child peels her half, eats the fruit, and tosses the rind. The other peels his half, throws away the fruit, and grates the rind into a cake batter. Half an orange and half a peel ended up in the trash. No one got what they actually wanted. That massive loss of value happens because of positional bargaining. Most of us default to fighting over our stated positions, like claiming "I want the orange," while our actual underlying needs sit completely hidden under the surface. When we bargain from the surface, we usually adopt one of two equally destructive styles. Hard bargainers treat the table like a battlefield, concealing their bottom line and treating every concession as a defeat. Soft bargainers prioritize keeping the peace, offering up concessions early just to avoid making waves. When a soft bargainer meets a hard one, the generous side is simply exploited. And when two hard bargainers clash, they might eventually reach an agreement, but the resulting hostility guarantees they'll never want to work together again. Positional bargaining forces a rigged choice. Either you push for what you want and damage the relationship, or you protect the relationship and give up what you need. To actually succeed at the table, we have to abandon the surface entirely. The researchers behind the Harvard Negotiation Project found a way out of that trap. Instead of arguing about who is tougher, you stop focusing on stated demands and start excavating the specific interests and constraints driving them. The ultimate test of this theory happened at the 1978 Camp David Accords. When Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin sat down with Jimmy Carter, they were locked in a bitter deadlock. This vintage map displays the geographic mass of the Sinai Peninsula. Egypt demanded total sovereignty over this territory, but Israel, occupying the area since 1967, flatly refused. Cartographers drew countless borders to split the land, but traditional positional compromises ignored both countries' actual motivations. The breakthrough came when mediators stopped looking at the map and asked why. Egypt demanded the territory because it represented national dignity and historic identity. Israel refused to leave because enemy tanks staged at the border could reach Israeli territory in hours. Israel's interest wasn't the land, it was security. By separating the underlying interests from the rigid surface demands, a solution emerged. Egypt would regain full sovereignty over the Sinai, while large portions of the territory would be strictly demilitarized. Sadat got his land back. Begin got a firm security guarantee. Irreconcilable positions evaporate the moment someone uncovers the non-competing interests sitting quietly underneath. But if you aren't anchoring yourself to an aggressive, hardline position, what stops the other side from pushing you around? You need a structural floor. This logic tree maps your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, an executable backup plan. Its value sets your reservation point, protecting you from accepting terrible deals. Adding the other party's baseline reveals the ZOPA, or zone of possible agreement. Leverage doesn't come from a loud voice or an intimidating posture. It comes from the quiet mathematical power of having a strong alternative. Even with careful preparation, you'll face stubborn counterparts. They will conceal information, refuse to budge, and try dragging you into a positional fight. Your biological instinct will be to defend yourself and push back, but matching their aggression guarantees you both get stuck on the surface. The response is a discipline the Harvard researchers called negotiation jujitsu. Instead of pitting your strength against theirs, you step aside and let their aggressive momentum flow directly into the shared problem. You execute this with 3 specific moves. First, treat their hard demand as a question and ask why they hold it. Second, when they attack your idea, don't defend it. Invite their criticism and ask them how they would fix it. Third, when attacked personally, redirect the focus back to the structural gap keeping you apart. By refusing to act as a target, you force your opponent to exhaust their combative energy on the puzzle itself. You convert a standoff into a joint inquiry. These mechanics apply to the stakes we deal with every day, far beyond international peace summits. A typical salary negotiation is a tug of war over a single number. An interest-based approach surfaces the real motivations on both sides, turning a rigid dollar amount into a highly flexible trade involving schedule, title, growth, and equity. If a vendor demands a steep price hike, you don't threaten to walk. You look at their constraints and apply objective criteria, like market benchmarks or alternative shipping terms, to solve their margin problem without ruining your own budget. You stop treating the table like a fixed pie, where every slice you take hurts the other person. You collaborate to expand the pie before anyone picks up a knife. The next time you face a deadlock, stop trying to win the argument. Excavate the hidden interests, build your leverage, and step aside when the attacks come. You'll never waste half an orange again.